My name is Vicente. I'm the technical operator of the podcast show, but today I am streaming and recording for John, and we have Vanessa who's asking a question. What is a modern shaman?
Well, it's a modern shaman. Well, I'm not sure that I even understand what the word shaman means. Do we have a definition of such a thing?
Yes, actually, I have definitions in front of me right now.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start off with the first one. A member of a certain traditional societies, especially of Northern Asia and of North and South America, who acts as a medium between the visible world and an invisible spirit world, and who practices magic or sorcery for purposes of healing, divination, and control over natural events.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I understand that's kind of like a traditional definition, an anthropologic definition, and so forth. I'm not sure that that applies to what the actual animal was or is or anything like that. It's just that that's a definition that's used. There's nothing particularly wrong with the definition other than it's not particularly timely, I guess, because that invisible world, are we talking about the quantum invisible world? Are we talking about the invisible world of gravity? Are we talking about the invisible world of the spirit? And is the spirit an invisible world? Is just all kinds of things of that nature that the definition assumes is true, which I'm not sure can be assumed. Okay, so I'm not sure that definition tells us anything about what a shaman is, either a modern one or an ancient one. Okay, I don't think that says much. Is there another definition, perhaps, that's clearer?
I do have another one here, and that is a good point on the first one. So the second definition would be a traditional pre-scientific faith healer.
A pre-scientific faith healer. Um, well, there's syntactic or semantic problems with that statement, I guess. I guess it's semantic problem more than syntactic problems. Because why would it be qualified? Why would you qualify a faith healer as pre-scientific?
Right.
Okay, I'm not really sure that I understand what that means, and what does faith in what, and what kind of faith are we talking about here? I mean those are concepts that are, well, I don't know. I don't, it's like, what the hell does any of that mean? It's interesting wording, but I don't know what it means. But okay, but it's pre-scientific apparently. Okay, whatever this is. Okay, so go ahead. What we got more?
Yes, actually, I have three more.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. For the third one, a member of certain tribal societies who acts as a religious medium between the concrete and spirit worlds.
Well, that one probably is closer to true than anything that any of the rest of them. Somebody actually did their homework on this one. Okay, so it's a member of a tribal community, right? That's what it's saying, and that does what?
Acts as a religious medium.
Okay, as a religious medium. Well, you see, here's the thing: religion is not woo-woo. Religion is actually more practical than anything else because what it tries to do is it tries to take the mundane and make it into a sacred idea. Okay, in other words, what religion tries to do is it tries to take the mundaneness of human life and try to make it into a sacred event. I think it would be fair to say that. I don't know that anybody would agree with that statement, but which is fair. But I think that maybe we need to consider it from that perspective, that that this person, whoever it is a relatively practical individual who is talking about deliberate belief, perhaps. That one is closer to reality than the other ones that you've read so far.
Right.
Okay. What else do you have over there? You had two more, you said?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So the next one is a priest or medicine man, especially among northern Asian peoples, who is believed able to heal and to foretell the future through communication with good and evil spirits.
Wow. That's a mouthful. Okay, first of all, a priest is somebody that speaks for God. Okay, that's what a priest is supposed to do. Priest says, okay, hi, you don't know God, but I do, and so I'm going to speak for him because I've had these conversations with God that you haven't had. And so I'm going to, come sit down here and tell me about what your problems are. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take these problems of yours to God, and you can forget about them. I got them now. Okay, so don't worry. That's what a priest does. I, then the next part of that definition is what, a medicine man?
Yes.
Uh, the hell is that? Is that some guy who sells pharmaceuticals, or is that the guy on the corner that sells medicine? What? In little baggies or little packages or pills or something? Is that?
It doesn't give a more defined.
Okay, so we're having trouble understanding what that medicine man means too. So it's a person that probably is not a priest, although that the guy says he's doing something priestly. Although I don't know what priest would do with this, and somebody who is also dealing.
Yeah.
A local dealer of some variety.
It is.
Okay.
It has like the priest and the medicine man concept like kind of overlapping.
Okay, so you got a dealer that's got a holy writ or something.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's see what else happens beyond that. What else did it say that he
Not only heals,
he heals, but he also tells
the future.
He tells the future by talking to good and evil spirits, right? Uh-huh. Wow. See, this is the thing about the good and evil spirit thing. It's another one of those things that somebody hasn't thought about what they're really trying to say, because good and evil is those are relative terms. Good doesn't mean the same thing in every instance. Okay, so it's relative, and so without the context of the good and the evil, it's pretty hard to say what this chap is doing. Apparently, he's confused about it too from this definition. Okay, or the definer is really confused about it because he has no clue. Okay, but those kinds of definitions are kind of confusing to me because I don't know what they mean. What else have you got there? I hope the last one's better than these other ones. The middle one wasn't bad. But what is this one?
All right, the next one is a member of certain traditional societies, especially of Northern Asia and of North and South America, who acts as a medium between the visible world and an invisible spirit world, and
Go ahead.
And who practices magic or sorcery for the purposes of healing, divination, and control over natural events.
Wow. Okay. The beginning of that is pretty good. It's a member of a traditional society. Okay, that actually makes sense because that seems to be true. Okay, because by the time that you get into a city or a large town, then you have a division of labor, as it were. Okay, everybody has to become more of a specialist. Okay, as soon as you have a community of let's say several hundred people or 1,000 people or whatever the magic number is, if there were magic, but once you get to that level of people, then everybody has to be specialized. Okay. And so the traditional society idea there makes pretty good sense because that's usually tribal. And I guess we could probably say or deduce from that that the shaman was a well he was a VIP in the tribal hierarchy, I suppose. Okay, of some variety. Because what he does is he does what?
He acts as the medium between the visible and invisible spirit world.
Okay. You know, programming is a lot like that too, because you can't really see programming, but yet you can act as a medium, as a programmer, as a kind of like a catalyst, and perhaps, I think the word medium in this case kind of refers to the same concept as catalyst, that he's making this thing happen for that person. Okay, and you kind of do that. Well, Silva Mind Control used to do something very similar to that. So did EST. What they did is they provided a program, and they made the participants adjust to that program. They forced it in a way. Okay. Um, and well, it's like one of my benefactors was a Silva Mind Control instructor who had an amazing ability to be able to turn his thoughts on in your head. Okay, he could visualize something so strongly that you would see it. Now he practiced that every night because he told these same stories every week. You know, he did like 40 classes, weekly classes a year. And so once a week he did these he'd tell these stories, right? And he told them with such force and such vigor that it became like a performance art. Okay, and so he kind of forced you to see what he was looking at, and he had grown in strength that he could one on one he could be oppressively insistent on you seeing what he was looking at. He'd ask you to start explaining a picture, and he'd start explaining it for you, and while you look at it, you say, okay, cut that out, you know, because you could feel him looking at it with you, you know. It's like, oh man, okay, I give you, you're right, you can do it. Okay. All right.
So that would be kind of like an actual practical action.
Yes, that's something that actually takes place. That's something that well, hypnotists do that same kind of thing in a way. Okay, they kind of use that mental oomph, or that the energy oomph that they've developed to kind of drive people into a hypnotic state, and you can do it with you know, with speed. You can do it with tone of voice. You can do it with how quickly you say the words. You can do it with how you accent the words. You can do it in lots of different ways. Okay, but the thing is that's something that a medium of trying to solve problems would be doing, would be going into that space or into that state and trying to make that occur. I would think. Um, I think it's the same kind of thing that a timeshare person does, actually, or a chess master, okay, or a basketball player, perhaps. Okay, that what you think you're watching them do is not necessarily what they're thinking about or doing. Okay, because they may be doing something else that you right in front of you can't really see. Okay, and so is that the invisible world? Is that the spirit world?
That's
Well,
what I'm thinking.
okay, in a way, I think you have to say that it is. Okay, uh, it's like if you go into a bank and you get a loan in a bank. Okay, you what you're going to do is you're going to have to appease the spirit of the loan officer, as it were, right? Okay, whatever that is. Okay, whatever spiritual rules that they follow, because they're not rules that you can see.
No.
Okay, they're rules that only they can see. So is the banker a shaman? Maybe.
Mm.
Okay, I mean, I have, let me put it this way. I have a lot more confidence in him being a shaman than some guy with a big ass old stick going, "Hey, I'm the shaman in the here in the White House. I'm the QAnon shaman." Yeah, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I got it. Okay, but it's a really nice act. Okay, you know, I mean, the uniform was great, and you know, you have to. I mean, how where in the hell do you find buffalo horns? I mean, tell me. You know? It's a nice uniform, okay? I mean, if you're gonna have a uniform, it's a great one, and you know, it stands out. People remember you.
Oh yeah.
So, but I don't think that's what a shaman is. I think the banker is more like a shaman because he's paying attention to an unseen world, isn't he? Now, if you're a banker, it's seen, but if you were a shaman, that world you're looking at would be seen too, I think, yeah, by definition. Wouldn't that be true?
I would agree that it is.
Okay. Well, from that perspective, then I'd say that a banker or a doctor or a lawyer, oh God, they follow some really unseen rules. Okay, who knows what the hell they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, uh, are they shamans? Well, I don't know. Some lawyers, I guess, provide healing, and some provide destruction. But then, isn't that what the shaman was supposed to do for good and bad, the good spirits and the evil spirits? So I don't know that those are spiritual ideas. I think that they're unseen, but I don't know that they're spiritual. I don't think that the spiritual energies flow in those kinds of dichotometric channels, for instance. Okay,
Because what might be a good or bad, say, for a lawyer, wouldn't be the same for a banker
or a politician.
or a politician.
And definitely not for a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, what's a modern shaman? Well, I think a modern shaman is somebody who can give and keep his word, number one. And I think that a modern shaman would probably be somebody who could address uh, personal and social ills in such a way that a solution could be found. Maybe not the solution, not provide the solution, but perhaps be able to wheedle in the direction of a solution that works for people. I think that diplomats sometimes do those kinds of things, okay, where they have to not say what they really mean so that they can say what they actually mean, okay, kind of thing. And so are they dealing with shamanic ideas? Maybe, probably. Okay, I'm not sure about that one way or the other. You know, they're not. It's not magic, although you know, from on the outside looking in, it might as well be magic
I was
because
gonna say, for the layman.
yeah, it'd be magic. Yeah, yeah, that'd be magic. Okay, Eric Clapton, I suppose, would be a shaman because what he does with the guitar is certainly magic. You know, and he goes into those good places and bad spaces and calls the spirits on both sides of the universe and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we'd say that Layla would be exactly that kind of an event, shamanic event. So does that qualify Eric as a shaman? No, but it makes him one hell of a guitar picker, doesn't it?
Sure does.
So you know those are the kinds of things that we have to consider with a modern shaman. Now, for me personally, what do I think a shaman is? I think that what a shaman is a shaman is somebody who can deliberately believe and make that deliberate belief a reality. I think that that's kind of the measurement. And so that means that a shaman would have to, let's say, be able to deliberately believe that he or she is not going to, let's say, get lost in the drama, or get lost in the argument, or get lost in the threat, or get lost in the sauce of whatever variety sauce you want to call it, in the chili someplace. You know, no, no, come on. We want to have a distinct taste. We want to have a distinct sound here, because in reality, this entity, this modern shaman person, has probably got it harder than anybody's ever had it in life, because the tribes that we have to deal with today are larger than the tribes that shaman had to deal with.
Yeah.
And
They're more interconnected too.
yeah, they are. Okay, so it's a different kind of thing, I think, but it's the same concepts, I believe. I think there are. I really do think that any shaman has to deal with the some variety of the seven concepts, or the eight concepts of the functions of the spirit. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to go off into, into the other world, or yeah, or go down your rabbit hole and talk with the under the world, or go up your magical tree and talk with the overworld, or whatever you want to call it.
No, you don't gotta pack your bags or anything.
No, well, these people never pack their bags. They I don't know how they go. They look like they go to sleep to me, but that if they go to places, it's okay. I don't mind that. Okay, it's
Okay.
okay. But I don't, I can't see where they're going. And when they come back and they talk about it, I don't know that.
Huh. How are they
I
actually keeping the
well,
word?
that's the thing. Does what they're talking about make any sense, or is it a practical application of anything? Mostly no. Okay, it's not, it's okay. It's it's high entertainment sometimes. It really is. But I don't think it's as effective. And this is another one of those things that they're going to control natural phenomena. You mean like they're going to stop the sun from going around, or the earth from going around the sun, or something? I see. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to stop the rain from falling. I just I don't think they could. I don't think they can really make the rain come over to here and rain. I mean, maybe they can. But show me. Okay, okay, it's a sunny afternoon. I'm hot. I need some rain. Bring some rain over here. Let me see. Do it. Okay. If there has to be special circumstances, okay, what are the special circumstances, and how do we get to those special circumstances where you can do it? Show me. I'm kind of agnostic on that one, I guess. You got it. Jesus Christ Superstar. How do I, show me who you are there. I want to see. Uh,
Actually, I would say that as far as the being in the modern world, society is required to have these actions, or like say, if these were things that the shamans could do, if it's something that can be transferred.
well, it would seem to me, okay, it's silly me, okay. I'm an old farm boy. You can take the boy out of the country. You can't take the country out of the boy. I got it. Okay, not argued. But it would seem to me that if you were you know a shaman in today's world, that you would be offering solutions. You wouldn't be beating yourself in the chest about how important you were as a shaman. I I I would think that you would be trying to gather agreement from all those around you, rather than saying that it's us against them. And I often run into that with this shaman variety of thought. But then, just between you and me and the fence post, the same kind of thing exists in gardening. Really, there are gardening snobs who know all of the plant names. I mean, they know them all. And they'll argue, that is a Carissa grandiflora tutuli. How do you know it's a tutuli? Because it has the little red pins on the very end of the leaf. Well, I'm so fucking thrilled that you know that, motherfucker. You Now go out there and plant me 100 of those, and I'd be impressed. I don't do planting. That my knees, they won't. So you're a plant snob? Is that the thing? I work in the nursery. I sell plants. I don't plant them. Okay, I'm good. Now we know what kind of motherfucker you are. Okay, fine. Okay, good. I don't, no hassle. You do your thing. Do okay. It's the same kind of thing in the spiritual realm. I think there are people who talk and say things, but that doesn't mean that they actually understand what they're saying, or they can't actually show me what they're doing.
I was gonna say like actually walking and doing what they're saying.
Well, there was a lady came by here, months ago, who was telling me that she wanted to do a something here. She wanted to do some kind of a session of some variety. And I said, okay, explain me how it works. Well, she got mad rather than explain me how it worked, because she didn't know how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And she was quite offended that I would ask her. But you see, that's the thing about these kinds of ideas. If you can't explain how it works, then why are you talking about it? Kind of thing. So a modern shaman is going to have to be able to say, this is how it works. Here's the science behind it. Here's the reasoning behind it. Here's the programming behind it. Here's the structure of these concepts, and this is how you know. I think all those things have to be in place, and if they're not, I think that we're not talking so much about shamanism as we're talking about charlatanism, which is a different branch of the same idea. Okay, and so for me, the shaman has to be a practical individual. He has to be able to deal with horse dookie and cows lifting their tails and hard work and growing tomatoes in the garden but he also has to be able to say, well, look, this baby here has a right to grow up big and strong, and so I can't take his learning away from him. And you'd have to be able to say the same thing about somebody that was still having trouble maturing at 50, rather than saying, well, that person, that woman is just a fill in the blank. They'd have to be actively involved with seeing how that person could be made better, or what could they do to help that person relieve his stresses so that he could express what he does to the best of his abilities. I think that if that can't be accomplished, then I don't really see much shamanism taking place anywhere. Okay, this is a measure for me. For instance, when people come by and they say, okay, I'm a spiritual whatever it is, they make their spiritual claim, and I say, well, okay, that's great. I have a couple of questions for you here. Can you be honest with me about these things? And they get offended when I ask them about their honesty. And then all of a sudden they don't want to pick an agreement, they want to pick a fight. And I have to stop and say, well, what kind of energy are they trying to gather here? Because a fight won't gather any energy. That fight's only going to destroy, it's only going to waste energy on drama and other nothingness. And so an agreement's going to garner energy for everybody involved. And so why is it that person not looking for the agreement? Why is it that they're trying to find a hill to fight for? What the hell for? If the option is to fight or to pick an agreement, let me think here for a second. Which way the agreement makes more sense to me, because that's energy gained, and the fight's energy lost. Okay. In other words, two people working on digging a ditch makes the ditch go a lot easier than one person digging the ditch, because one person can dig it while the other one picks, and the other one can pick while the other one digs, and the ditch just keeps on advancing, rather than one person having to do it all and have to rest in between every shot. It takes 4 times as long to do it, because the guy has to rest for every one of those actions. Okay, so working together makes pretty good practical sense when you get right down to it. If you got something heavy to move, 2 people can move it easier than one person, like a refrigerator, for instance, or a sofa. One person can grab hold of it and just pick it up and go walking around. It's easier to take one end, someone get the other end. It makes it easier to move. Not that it can't be moved all by yourself, but why?
Yeah.
Do you really need a hernia? If you do, knock yourself out. Okay, I'm good. Looks stupid to me, but if that's what you got to do, it's what you got to do. It's fine. Okay, so what else? What else we got there?
Well, as far as defining a modern shaman, I think you hit all the points about what definitions are out there so far.
Yeah. Well, there are people who claim shamanism, or people who claim to understand shamanism, and it's like I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying I don't understand what they're claiming. Okay, I don't understand what that word is that they're claiming that they know about. Okay, because I don't see evidence of what I see in history. Okay, I don't see where that kind of effect is being brought about by these people that claim to be. Some of these people, I should say. There are people who don't claim to be shamans who really make quite a bit of difference, I think. Okay, and to me, those people are more likely to be shamans than people who claim to be. Okay, I'm like I said, I'm for myself. I'm not sure I know what that word means. Okay, I know what I do, and what I do is I deal with agreement. Okay, I try to live only by agreement. That's easier said than done because finding people that will agree to that are kind of difficult. They're few and far between because what most people do is they want to fight rather than agree.
Yeah.
That's just how they are.
Some examples I could think of from history and even today is there would be terms describing captains of industry, or say someone like Elon Musk, who doesn't get lost in the sauce.
Okay, okay. Let's compare Elon Musk to Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump doesn't really represent what I would call a shamanic idea. Okay, he doesn't really represent what we'd call a Christian idea. Actually, what he represents is somewhat of a pagan idea. Now, is he right or wrong for that? The perception of beauty is a moral test, and so I can see the beauty of Donald Trump truly, but I can also see the stupidity of Donald Trump. I can see where, as you're saying, he's lost in the sauce. He's interlocked with a threat for him apparently. It doesn't make him a bad guy, but he doesn't think very clearly like that either. So that's not leadership. That's not well, it's not leadership. I don't know what it is, but it's not leadership. Okay, it's what it's not. It looks like it's a lot of chaos. It looks like it looks like it's a fight over something that it's a foregone conclusion. You lost the election, bud. Accept that. Christ. That's what elections are about. When you lose, you lose. You can lose by one vote, and it doesn't make any difference. You lost by a vote. You didn't get off. You get everybody you're supposed to get. Well, all right. Do better next time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the reason why I don't know that these definitions of shaman really makes any difference because I don't know what those are. I think that if whatever you have to do it through agreement. I think that's what that because if somebody's feeling bad, they have to agree with you to get better. If they don't, they won't. I mean, we see that with people who get into what we could call a death spiral of some kind or the other, and Sandy did that really. She got to a place where she just wasn't coming back, and she continued on down that path. The young man that we were talking about with the lady down below here, that's what happened with him. He got in that place where he just couldn't come back. He just couldn't come back. He got beyond the tipping point, and he just couldn't come back. So he passed away. He couldn't breathe anymore. He didn't have any oxygen left anymore. So and it was a terrible, terrible thing for everybody involved. He wasn't that old. He was a young man. Okay, well, Sandy was a young person. Okay, same kind of thing. And so that you see that in people though. You see where it is that they get to a place where they say, okay, I'm just going to come back and do this again. I'm going to do it. I'll do it better next time. I'll see it on the flip side or something. And that's okay. It's sad to see them go. Okay, but it's still okay for them to do that. And in a strange way, when you can agree with them about that, you might be going into the depth of whatever unseen spiritual reality there actually is. Because in those moments, when somebody's passing away, you kind of have to acknowledge the spirit's existence. And it isn't something that's physical. So, this idea of a shaman, well, I don't know that the word should have ever been used, not the way we use it, because it refers, I think, to somebody with maturity and age and wisdom and education.
Hmm.
Okay, and I think that those people can aid, that kind of a person can aid anybody to accomplish anything that they need to accomplish, because they've learned the, shall we say, the spiritual attributes of what holds reality together. And in the vernacular, we refer to that as an agreement. It can be referred to as other ideas of collaboration and all kinds of thoughts. But what it actually is an agreement between people that just, they get together and say, okay, are we going to go to the Sheridan, for instance? And everybody says, yeah, let's go get in the car. Okay, and everybody gets in the car, and it's like whoever drives hits a bump, and everybody's, hey man, watch where you're going, and but they keep on going. Yep, there was a bump in the road. And everybody says, well, you stop driving. I'm going to get out, and I won't go with you anymore because you hit a bump in the road. You nasty person. No, that didn't happen. You keep on riding. Try that with one of these municipal buses. That ain't gonna happen, dude. I mean, we're talking chicken buses here. They don't give a damn. They go hit they hit that pothole on purpose just so they throw all their chickens up back there. They get off on it. Okay, try and throw the people off the roof. So you don't get mad at them and say what you do is you hold on. Okay, that's an agreement because you want to get to where you're going. You don't want to piss them off and make them drive faster. No, everything's fine. Chill, dude.
Yeah.
Can I play my guitar for you?
Yeah, that happens. Bumps in the road and life
It
happens.
does. Damn if it doesn't.
It's hanging.
Okay, so see, I think that the shamanic type of person, okay, is going to say, okay, that was a bump in the road, and you know what? I got to figure out how to not hit the bump, and I got to pave that bump over, and I got to go back there, and I got to take care of these people that got hurt from the bump. Okay, I wasn't driving. The bump wasn't on purpose. The bus didn't do a bad thing. It just happened. We're all human beings, and we had this human tragedy, this human pain. Can we move on from that now and do the next thing we need to do? See, that's what a shaman does. I think is the shaman says, okay, let's keep the boat going in the same direction, kind of. Let's not try to change direction with the boat right now, because if you do, we're going to upset. I don't want to swim this afternoon. The water cold. I don't want to do that. Okay, to me, that's what this is about. Okay, that's what a shaman's about, and I think that's how people get what they need out of that relationship. Is that the shaman is able to, or that I don't know. Again, I don't know what that is, but somebody can say or can guide them through their own programming, how to get along with other people, how to say what they mean what they say, how to do something specifically, how to use their natural thinking rather than the made up stuff that they learn from as children, let's pretend stuff, how to be empathetic with other people, how to be intuitive, and above all, how to take all that and make agreements with it. Now, boy, if somebody can do that, well, show me you can do that, and then we'll talk about your shamanism, okay?
That's even if they want to talk about it all afterwards.
Well,
it's just happening.
If they can do that part, they're going to. I'm going to clap for them, hug their neck, and dance at the very next wedding. I swear to God, I will. Get over here. Let me give you a hug. It ain't your wedding yet, but you know what? We can make that happen here this evening. It'd be all right. Okay, that's kind of where you have to be with this kind of stuff, I think. Now, is that shamanism? Fuck, I doubt it. Is it something that we can understand? Probably.
Yeah.
Is it something that may approximate whatever those individuals did in those days, back when there weren't any streets or roads or really condos to buy, or chicken that was prepared on the street corner, or tacos, or none of that kind of stuff. Just none of it. If you wanted fresh fish, well, it was going to be fresh because you're going to go out there and catch it. If you wanted whale blubber, you go out and get you a whale. Those kinds of things. So that you had to be inventive back in the day, and those people had to look for agreement. They not fights. You had to get along with people, not fight with them. It takes, what, a 3-year-old to fight? Really? How is that shamanic?
Hi, I'm a 3-year-old and I'm a shaman, and I want my Captain Crunch right now!
Okay, the visual is kind of strange to me, but all right, if that's how you want to be. Why do you want to be that way? Doesn't make good sense to me, but okay.
Okay, cool. Me personally, that seemed to kind of spell out. A modern shaman may not need the word of a shaman to define them. It is what they actually do.
I don't think that any shamans at any time needed the word to define them. I don't think that they said, "Hi, Mom, you know what? I was in kindergarten today, and I woke up after my nap, and I decided that I was going to be a shaman, and so I'm going to go to shaman school." I have trouble seeing how that would have ever happened. Okay, I just don't think that occurred. Mm-hmm. I think that what happened is that the person was whatever they are, and they did whatever they do, and after all, people just said, leave the guy alone or the girl alone. What they do is something that nobody else does, and I don't understand what it is they do, and I don't think I want to, but I sure do like it when they do it. And well, what is that? Well, it's what we call a shaman, but we don't know what the hell else to call them. That's kind of what that's about. Okay. All right. It's neither here nor there. It's just I think that's what took place, and I think that the colonialists came along and they said, well, why do you guys listen to him? He's an ugly old fart there. And they said, well, he's a shaman. And they said, oh, write that down there, Margaret. We need to know what a shaman is. Take a picture of it. We'll draw him then. Yeah. That's, those definitions that you were reading a while ago, Margaret didn't write it down well. She got waylaid there somewhere in what she was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sir George didn't help at all. He'd been knighted, but still in all, it doesn't mean that he was helping Margaret out of it. Okay. So does that cover that answer the question?
Yeah.
Vanessa, I hope it answers your question. If you don't, you can ask it again. How's that?
Sounds like it'd be a fun thing.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Behave yourselves, please. Kind of. Well, I take that back. I don't want you being bored either.